Hello people, this upload is specifically for Moyhead99. He basically commented that I should get the Sims 3. I said that they suck, that I could probably rant about it for 15 minutes with reasonable reasons. He said, go on, do it. So here it is, me ranting about the Sims 3. Why I do not like this game. Well, I made myself 13 reasons. There might be more. I just can't think of them at this point. Researched into it a little bit as well, so my 13 reasons are 13 valid reasons. First of all, the game in comparison is huge in size and runs on most systems slowly. They probably programmed it wrong, so that every time you buy an expansion pack, another copy of the main game installs. You know, that you can't delete either that, or they just didn't know how to squash the game a bit and did it very stupidly. Because on most systems it runs slowly, also it's huge in size. In comparison, The Sims 2 with 15 expansion and stuff packs on my system are 13.4 gigabytes. The Sims 3 with 1 expansion pack, 0 stuff packs, no downloads in both games, is 8.50 gigabytes. 8.50. It's like, that's with 1 expansion. 1. People that have them all say that the size starts exceeding 30. Oh, that's stupid, isn't it? Oh, second point. Main game didn't come with much. Doesn't have much because the company just wants you to sell more. Make more sales to get more money off you. Because, for instance, I did a haircut comparison. I did not counted the, all of the variations of the same haircut with, let's say, recolored hat in The Sims 3, because, as you know, you can't recolor it yourself. So, there's going to be a table down in the description, because this would take too long to explain, of comparisons in haircuts, how much of them in the base game with no downloads you would get in The Sims 2, and how much of them in the base game with no downloads you would get in The Sims 3. The results are kind of saddening. Just so you know. They're really saddening. I mean, for instance, let's take the adult group. I compared adult males and females haircuts versus Sims 3 adult males and females haircuts. Adult male in The Sims 2 with no expansion packs has 51 haircut. Adult male in The Sims 3 with no expansion packs has 30. That's one of them. 3. The game is bloody expensive. I did price comparison of Origin, the official The Sims, EA store, that their site of The Sims 3 sites directs you to if you want to buy it. I know that comparing this one is going to be a little bit unfair, because The Sims 2 is out now for how long? 7 years. The Sims 3 is out for 3 years. But on Origin, their base price never changed. Because EA are the only ones that would keep their games at full price no matter what in their store. So this is basically the full price you would get them on. The Sims 3 is 39.99 euros. The Sims 2 is 19.99 euros. So basically for The Sims 3 they want 20 euros more. Not to mention that every expansion pack of The Sims 3 costs 35 euros. Or about as much. Which leads me to the expansion packs also do not add that much to your game. it's only a few items. For instance, this is late night, right? I gotten like 5 haircuts for like adults with it. This one huge town. Actually, late night is the thing that could still qualify for an expansion pack. I got lazily done buildings. I basically got a chance to mix drinks, have friggin' band and everything else. But look at, for instance, generations. They add what was supposed to be in the game in the first place. A few pranks, a few things like send your sim off, and so on. My point is that the expansion packs, no matter what they are, costs about 35 euros. Not to mention, they do not add much, and that's where we go to what they did instead of expansions. They opened a The Sims store. The Sims store was opened when The Sims 2 was ending. It was opened for The Sims 2 as well when they reached the apartment life expansion. They opened that one. The initial reason for The Sims store was if you do not want to buy the whole expansion pack, you can buy haircuts off the expansion pack. Just that. And that was fair enough. But what did they do now? They release only new stuff on The Sims 3 store for The Sims. One haircut costs 100 sim points. 10 euros gives you 1000 sim points. So 10 euros for 10 haircuts, 1 euro for 1 haircut. I'm sorry EA, but for Mass Effect, 2 euros equal 4 hours of gameplay DLC. So their pricing is nonsense compared with all of the rest of the games. It's mostly because they gotten cocky. So this is what me covering 4 points, which is good. I'm having this table, I have everything scripted, so I'm sorry, I'm just right now throwing out of the things that I already talked about. Oh, right. Game requirements change. Vanilla The Sims 3 could have been run by almost any computer. However, what they do automatic updates on the game, because the game came out glitchy and everything. But they also leak other content in it, which change the initial requirements. So if you bought The Sims 2 on 2008 when it came out, and you had an average computer, it probably doesn't run it by now, after all of the updates and stuff. And there's lots of people talking about that, but you know, another flaw of it is content leak. For instance, I'm in late night, right? I should have the boob slider and everything, but everybody else has that. Why? Because they leaked what I bought. You know, you do not need exclusive expansion pack stuff. You bought the expansion pack because you wanted to donate us money. That's what you did, because we will leak half of the content of what you bought to everyone else. It's like, right now, from Generations, my Sims can have body hair. Not kidding, they can. Can even prove it to you, if you want. I never asked for it. I never asked for it because it's the content meant for the people that bought Generations, that wanted it.
Ogla.
I hate when they just leak it. I mean, I can have as much as I want. It's exactly the same body hair that people that bought the expansion pack would get. Exactly the same. It's like, I never asked for this, EA. If I didn't buy the expansion pack, I'm not expecting to get stuff from it. At one point, you know, you could be all happy, like, you know, pff, why is the tutorial on? I turned it off a few times. Like, if I buy the expansion pack, I expect me to get the whole content, and other people that didn't buy the expansion pack not to have the content. What happens when I buy expansion pack, half of the content that EA advertises that is only in the expansion pack gets leaked. I hate that. It's like, so can I just pay you 80% of the price then? Not 100? Because you advertised that the whole content of the expansion pack is going to be in the expansion pack. Didn't say to me that 20% of the expansion pack everybody else is going to get as well. Oh right, remember when I talked about them having store, body shop, and everything? Yeah, you know why exchange was more efficient in The Sims 2? Because you had body shop. You could have created your own haircut meshes. Could have modified the colors and everything through body shop. At this point, EA probably decided that why should we allow people to create if we can charge them for it? So, no body shop for you, sir. You cannot create your own haircuts. If you want more haircuts, buy it. Which leads me to, game is almost impossible to modify. Its own files are coded that way, so nobody could, pirate it. But people still did, because that's not how world works. That it's made so you can't modify it. You can't modify the game files while in The Sims 2, even though they were made in a complex way, you still could have. That's why The Sims 2 has mods done by players. Change the whole appearance of the world you're in. And everything. Not in here though. You cannot also create a town that would have your pre-created families. You can share the town with everyone else. You can create the town, but you can't create families for other people to play unless you want them to say, okay, here's the town. I upload the family separately. Now put this one in this house, this one in this house, this one in this house. And you would originally have the town I intended it to be. Stupid. Okay. Done lazily. The Sims 2 apartment life. Added apartments with 4 floors. Every floor had about 3 rooms. And all of them you were able to enter, you were able to play with. The Sims 3 done it differently. This outside structure has nothing to do with what happens inside. You have the top floor that is working, the apartment. You can't choose what apartment to buy, by the way. The game chooses for you, which is stupid because in The Sims 2 you could actually choose the apartment, how big it is, and which one you want. But initially, one apartment building in The Sims 3 has 4 apartments. Not that every floor has 4, but 4 in total. So that's The Sims 2, 4 times 4, 16 apartments versus 4 apartments in one building. Because you have the top floor in The Sims 3. This is obviously an apartment that you can use. This is an apartment that you can use. What happens if you go a floor down? It goes to the bottom floor. It has 1 apartment, not even 2 in this one. So you have the bottom floor apartment, and you have the 2 top floor apartments. You do not have anything in between. Everything that's in between is just empty, pretty facade for nice looking outside. Which is stupid, because if I want apartments, I want functional apartments. With stairs or elevators down with floors. Not with empty space in between them. So there you go. The game is done really lazily in that way. It's like everything is hard to create. Also, some of the textures look pretty weird, Grass doesn't look like grass. Sims don't look that good. compared with The Sims 2. The Sims 2 Sims actually looked nicer. Apartments are done stupidly. So I put the Mark II. The game is done lazily. Also, game decided that we're not going to be simulation anymore. We're going to allow you cheating, which makes us a very, very easy game. What do I mean by cheating? Age levels. Normally, what happens in a simulation game? You enjoy it because you sometimes have to get through tough times. In this one, you don't. For instance, okay, you have 5 toddlers. They're annoying you. What do? Set toddler life day to 1, allowing you to skip the whole thing altogether, which is not what the game is supposed to be about. I never seen a simulation that would allow you to choose your own friggin' every generation game time, because that allows you to avoid every hard thing in the game, which essentially makes the game just another app for Facebook. Because that's what it is. You cannot make the game easier and easier and easier. You should allow the players to experience some challenges, because those that cannot overcome challenges, there are the regular cheat codes for. That's why you still have testing cheats enabled true. Stuff like that. But no, you see, that's a cheat box. And that's where you type cheats. Cheats are not supposed to be legally allowed in a game in the options. Because that's what I call that age thing. I call it a cheat. So that brings us, the game is too easy. It slowed down the everything falling down process. It slowed down skill gaining as well, which is kind of good, but really you can't just overcome that. How, you say? Well, I wanted to test out what kind of vampires are in late night. I have a family made out of vampires. Apparently I do not like to play vampires. Have you any idea why? Because gaining one skill point literally takes 1 second. You just sit your sim to read a book. If he's a vampire, he will turn 1 page and already gain 1 skill point. Which basically means you can gain all of the skill points in the game in like, what? 1 day? What's the fun of that? Then you have 260 days, because your sim still ages apparently, to do nothing. That's not how The Sims 2 worked. It's like in comparison, The Sims 2 vampires. Their skill reading, you know, increased, speed of it increased, but just by a little bit. They are now immortal, but they have the disadvantage of if you leave your sim out in the morning. Anyone that actually saw my The Sims 2 Let's Play know what that means. Your sim fries in 1 sim hour, like 1 minute of your time. In this one, if you leave your sim for 4 hours, for 2 hours, they get a warning of their overheating. You have 4 hours to move your sim away from the sun. By the time they would start burning, the sun would be going down. It's like, what the frick? That's too easy. My other point that you might disagree with is that it's a bad thing. The game connects to Facebook. It asks you about that too much as well. Oh, for God's sakes. Take your picture. Be happy. But I mean, for everything, little thing, I mean, your sim gains 1 skill point. They go with the new memory system. Do you want to share this on Facebook? A scrapbook memory thing. For instance, I can show you hers. There you go, learned cooking. Learned 1 skill point of cooking. And that is a memory. Which is kind of annoying because that goes to back to my point of content leak. Never wanted that, that's why I never bought Generations EA. I never wanted to get that. Yet I did. because apparently it's alright to leak the content of expansion packs into the main game. Because that's completely fine. You know. Also, little small thing for the list that I just mentioned is changes that you make to the town doesn't stick if you start again from a new family, which is kind of a nuisance. I mean, okay, this is, you know, the town. If I would go to the town editor and pull up a new building and start from a new save, it wouldn't save the town the way I made it. It would start from the town the way they originally created it. You can fix that with the Sims map creator, but it's friggin' nuisance. So, for instance, if you go back to Sunset Valley and decide you want your Sims to be a celebrity, you started one game, plopped the building in, edit it down, put the building, you know, of getting to stardom in, then basically played with that family, decided to create a new one. And since you didn't want to lose the last one, you created a new save. You go back to Sunset Valley and you need to repeat everything you did, because the game doesn't save what you do in the town. So it's pretty annoying. But it's just the way that the game works. So, and anyways, this is my rant why I prefer The Sims 2. There are more reasons, I just cannot find them at this hour. Because seriously, I'm just doing this because I'm bored. I scripted myself, I tested absolutely every feature in every game. I made tables, I made comparisons, so I could do this. So yeah, my head for me to record this. I spent 2 hours checking both of the games out, make sure that I would do a fair comparison. So that's why The Sims 3 for me ranks lower than The Sims 2. That's my opinion. So my opinion just lasted for half an hour. Thank you if you're still listening. Absolutely every single point and table for haircut comparison is going to be in the description, so just read that. Bye.